What's up, everybody? It's Patton Smirgo. Got another TCG deck profile for you today. We're going to probably stick with TCG stuff for a while, so I thought I'd jump into another deck profile. This is something I'm really excited to have just gotten completed just the other night. This is Mega Scizor with the new Breakpoint expansion. This is probably going to be the first of several Breakpoint deck profiles and maybe one or two updates. We'll see to old decks. Maybe at least, I know at least one. But we're going to jump right into Mega Scizor. This is probably going to be one of my favorite decks of this format. Scizor is one of my favorite Pokemon. Steel's one of my favorite types. So let's jump into it right now. We've got one Shaymin EX. It's really all you need in this deck. Having more than one of this guy would be a little bit too much because the deck actually digs through itself really, really quickly. And if you go up against decks that focus on milling you out, you actually have a tough time against them, like Durant and maybe Houndoom, or decks like that, or Wailord that wants to stall you out. It can actually be a tough time if you run more than one Shaymin, but you do need at least one in this deck. For the rest of the Pokemon, our attackers are going to be 3 Scizor EX and 2 Mega Scizor EX. So if you don't know what these cards do, I'm going to just leave 2 of them on the screen here for you. But remember, it's a 3 Scizor, 2 Mega Scizor EX line for our primary attackers. What Scizor EX does here, as we're going to get a little bit closer to him, we've got Steel Wing here for 1 metal energy, hits for 20 damage. During your opponent's next turn, you reduce damage that Scizor EX takes by 20 points of damage after applying weakness and resistance, which is really nice. And then you have Gale Thrust. So for 2 metal energy, does 50 damage. Plus, if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn, this attack does 60 more damage. That's pretty easily done. And so we're going to run 3 of these guys, mainly because we do run 2 of the Mega here. But it's important to note that with Scizor EX, there are other Pokemon you can run in this deck, like Zoroark and things like that. We're not currently, simply because of how easy it is to get big knockouts with Scizor EX and Mega Scizor EX. You're two-shotting a lot of the format. But on to Mega Scizor EX here. You've got Iron Crusher, which is for 2 metal energy, you do 120 damage. And if you can discard a special energy or a stadium in play, which is really, really nice. Or a special energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon or any stadium in play. So that gets really, really nice to be able to do that. So again, that's 3 Scizor, a 3-2 Scizor EX, Mega Scizor EX line makes that work. You can try to cut, I'm going to try to squeeze in a third at some point, and maybe if I do change the deck up, I will do an update. But 3-2 is working fairly well now because Scizor is a decent attacker with that Gale Thrust attack. For a secondary attacker in this deck, we have 2 copies of Aegislash EX. I really bounce around between maybe 1 Aegislash and 1 Dialga EX. But really, it just came down to the fact that Aegislash just does a better job with Slash Blast and being able to stop Pokemon with special energy attached to them. Just because it's very, very common to see a lot of special energies floating around right now. And I'm especially thinking that Garchomp EX is going to, or not Garchomp EX, but Garchomp decks are going to be decently big, and having, they rely on their special energies in that deck. So Aegislash, probably one of your best choices, even though Hex Maniac is running around. Running 2 of them is still really nice. For our supporting line of non-EX Pokemon, we're playing a 3-3 Bronzor Bronzong line for Metal Links. I chose to use this Bronzor because of the cheaper 1 retreat cost over the 10 HP due to its synergy with Scizor EX's Gale Thrust if need be. So yeah, that's what we're going to run for that. Metal Links is pretty self-explanatory, and I might go over a couple of different combos at the end of the video. So yeah, we're going to jump into supporter line. We've got 4 Professor Sycamore, pretty self-explanatory, pretty standard. 1 AZ to be able to pick stuff up out of the active. one Professor Birch's observations for shuffle draw. Again, like I see in a lot of my videos, you could substitute in a Shauna if you like. I just like Birch more in this deck. We play one Judge for disruption and again for shuffle draw. One Hex Maniac to turn off abilities. One Lysandre to be able to control our knockouts. And one tech that I'm running in here, testing out, is one copy of the new card, Psychic's Third Eye. So if you don't know, if you're not familiar with this card, what does, your opponent reveals his or her hand. So you get to know what cards they have in their hand. And then you discard as many cards as you like from your own hand, then draw that many cards. Now, I know this card isn't the best. I will freely admit that. When I first saw this card, when I opened up my boxes, I was like, great, like another waste of a supporter. But in this deck, it actually can do decently if you've got like a bunch of pieces in your hand that you don't need. Like you've got an extra stadium, or you're done digging through your deck and your Shaymin's in your hand, or you're done digging for Pokemon, you've got your Ultra Balls, or you've just got a bunch of metal energy you'd like to get in the discard pile for metal links. Psychic's Third Eye actually helps you do that and helps you refill your hand, which can be really, really nice. On to the items, we're running 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Pretty standard. Again, fairly standard. 4 copies of Versus Seeker. Because we do play a lot of items and a lot of interesting trainers, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Trainer's Mail. We're playing a Mega, so we're going to be playing 3 copies of Spirit Link. I originally had this at 2 when I first started testing this list. Because we only had, you know, the 2 Megas. But I often found myself prizing one, so I made room for a 3rd one. It's something you can do if you often find yourself prizing that Spirit Link you need for the Mega deck. But again, it's really up to you. We're also playing 3 copies of the newly reprinted Max Potion. Now, this will get into a little bit of a combo that we have with this deck, but I think you can kind of see where it's going here. We've got a Scizor active, you retreat back to the bench, heal it off with a Max Potion, and Metal Links back on the energy. It makes this deck very, very hard to combat, and I'll walk through these steps of that kind of very basic Scizor Mega Scizor combo here at the end of the video. We're also running 2 Battle Compressors to be able to get metal energies in the discard pile. We're going to be rocking 2 Floatstone to be able to get on those Bronzongs. And we're going to also be rocking 2 Switch to help us get out of tough situations. For a stadium, there were 2 stadiums, actually a few stadiums of choice here. I chose to test out the new 2 copies of the new Reverse Valley, which I really like for this top effect. So you'd play the card, you know, looking at you upside down, and then your metal Pokemon get 10 more HP. You do give any dark decks a 10-point boost. The stadium kind of gets nullified. So it's an interesting way to, you know, counter a stadium if you need to do it that way. I'm also playing 1 copy of Steel Shelter. This is mainly in here to help with the Stadium War, but it also is there to kind of counter the kind of the newer decks that are coming out. I know that the Hypno Darkrai deck that focuses on putting you to sleep has been really popular, really hyped up, as well as Raticate Break Area Dose, which if you don't know what that does, it basically one-shots anything it darn well feels like. So you need to be careful of that deck. So 1 Steel Shelter can kind of help there. You know, if you don't feel like running the Psychic's Third Eye in this deck, or like I had said earlier, I think that a good swap in for that would be Skyla, so that you can go get your stadiums when you need. You can go get the other pieces you need. That would be my word of advice. In the energies, it's really, really simple. Just 10 copies of, you know, whatever metal energies you have laying around, just to get through it. We're not going to be playing double colorless. We're not going to be playing not strong energies, but shield energies. As a car alarm goes off right outside my window. That's awesome. Or at least a horn. So, but yeah, we're not going to be playing those because they don't work with our Metal Links combo. So I'm going to grab out the combo here. I'm going to try to get it on screen, at least part of it. So the combo requires that at least on your bench you have 2 Bronzongs here, right here. So that's about as far zoomed out as I can get it at this point. And you also have 1 Mega Scizor EX on the bench and either one Scizor or one Mega Scizor EX active. So let's say it's got its 2 energy on here. That's enough to fulfill the 2 energy retreat cost. So what you're gonna do, let's say this thing has like 210 damage on it, so it's 10 away from getting knocked out. You detach both the metal energies, they go to your discard pile, you retreat back, promote your other Scizor, Mega Scizor EX, use your max potion to heal off the one with all the damage, and you metal links the energy back on. Let's say this guy had energy on him, then he'd be able to attack. The goal of this deck is to keep, always have one Mega Scizor or Scizor EX loaded up with 2 energies on the bench and just kind of cycle them through. I really like it because it's an aggressive deck that hits decently hard, but also isn't afraid to take a hit. And I think that that's a quality that I really like about this deck because it makes it a little bit easier to play when you know that you're not just going to get one-shotted by things because you have that out to be able to heal back up. All right, well, that's going to be it for that deck profile. Thank you guys so very much for coming out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my Twitter. My link will be down in the description below. If you have any changes you think I should make to the deck, make sure you let me know in those comments. I really look forward to looking at those. And yeah, I got to get up out of here, but thank you guys so very much for coming out. And with all that being said, this is Pallet Town Smeargle signing out.